Welcome to the sixth session of this fifth module. So in this module we shall study this generation of biogas from the organic waste by anaerobic fermentation. Basically this anaerobic fermentation or anaerobic digestion produces biogas from the wet organic waste such as the leaves, vegetable waste, roadside and natural grass, straw, organic waste, human manure, the animal manure, the municipal waste. So these are all wet organic waste that we will be taking, and we will be producing the biogas from this. Actually, how do we produce it is an interesting thing actually. Before I just tell you how this the biogas is being generated using this anaerobic digestion, I just would like to tell you what do you mean by this anaerobic fermentation. So all this anaerobic fermentation means it is the breaking up of the chains, the breaking up of the protein chains or the chains which have been made in the organic waste in the absence of oxygen or in the absence of air. So what happens now, my dear friends, you just imagine I have a vessel in which I have got the waste from the animal waste, it may be, or it may be the municipal waste, or it may be a kitchen waste, or it may be the leaves or the fruits or the vegetable waste. We will take it in this, and what we will do it is we will completely seal it, and and make sure that there should not be any the air leakages, and the minimum temperature by making an insulation completely covering with some insulations, thermal insulators for this container. So what happens basically, the microorganisms which are present in this waste, they would like to grow. So the microorganisms, what they will do it is they want to go. It may be microorganisms, or it may be a bacteria, or it may be enzymes. These microorganisms, if they want to live or if they want to grow, what they will do it is they need the oxygen. So since we are not allowing the air for them to breathe, so what they will do it is they will break this the biomass chains, the protein chain, they are going to break it. These microorganisms, they will break it, and whenever these chains, molecular chain is been broken, it releases some oxygen, or it releases some air or the oxygen. They will use this oxygen for the growth. So they will keep on doing this as long as they keep growing it. So once they are releasing this, there is breaking down of this molecular chains which releases the gases or which releases the oxygen. Now by this releasing, two things will happen. The majorly three things will happen. One is the breaking up of the chains releases the air, and this air is being utilized for the growth of microorganisms, and they will keep increasing in their numbers also. Second thing is this releases the air which increases the pressure. This increases the pressure of the gases. And the third thing is, in addition to the oxygen, they will also release some hydrocarbon gases, for example methane. These gases will be collecting in the empty place above this solid waste. Is that clear? So this solid waste also plays a very major role. Okay, say for example, as per the statistics, if the pig manure, it takes a less period of time to generate this biogas, whereas if you take a kitchen waste, it takes more time for the growth of this. So is that clear? So this is how it will grow. So whatever the gas which is being collected is nothing but it will be a combustible one. Then there also we will separate the methane, and we will also separate the other gases, and this gas, that is a methane, will be used as a biogas. So this is what happens in anaerobic fermentations. So the fermentation or the breaking up of chains is nothing but a fermentation. Fermentation is a process of breaking up of a long polymer chains into a smaller monomer chains. Long polymer chains is being broken down into small monomer chains. That is what we call it as a fermentation. If this fermentation is being carried out in the absence of air or oxygen, then we call it as anaerobic. That means Air means aerobic, means in the presence of oxygen or air. Anaerobic means in the absence of oxygen or in the absence of air. That is what we call it as anaerobic fermentation. Now let us see what points we have highlighting over here is that during the process of anaerobic digestion, microorganisms break down the long chain polymers, or we call it as a biomass, in an oxygen free environment. Is that clear? So this anaerobic digestion or the decomposition ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಳ್ತು ಹೋಗೋದು ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಕೊಳ್ತು ಹೋಗೋದು ಅಂತ, that is nothing but a decomposition. So this decomposition of organic matter by the bacteria in the oxygen occurs naturally in liquid manure systems. Naturally it just occurs. No need for any external aid. We are not burning anything. We are not supplying any external energy for that. So whatever the energy within which they have, they will use that energy for producing the gases, the biogases. Is that clear? The lack of oxygen and abundance of the organic matter is in liquid manure provides a proper conditions for the anaerobic bacteria. And there are a few bacteria or microorganisms which are called as anaerobic bacteria because they grow in the absence of oxygen. There are a few organic microorganisms like yeast, which is used in preparing the food for us, even in the dosa, idlis. We will add some yeast which breaks these microorganisms and they will grow. Is it clear? That is the reason why you take any curd or you take any the grind atta which taste in different taste, either through halsogidre, if it is something has been decomposed, it smells different. It smells different and it tastes very different. It is only because of the decomposition. Is it clear? The lack of oxygen and abundance of organic matter is the biggest plus point for the growth of these microorganisms. What they will do it is, the anaerobic bacteria will only the anaerobic bacteria will survive, not any other bacteria. Unfortunately, uncontrolled anaerobic decomposition can cause the foul odors. That is what I was just telling. If this undergoes decomposition, it smells very bad. It smells different. It is nothing but a foul odors, sometimes associated with liquid manure. Liquid manure also, it smells a different one. It smells a bad odor. Manure storage and spreading. Is that clear? However, controlled anaerobic decomposition not only reduces the odors in liquids manure system, but also can turn odorous compounds and organic matter into the energy. So how we control it, that is a different section. How we can control these anaerobic digestions. Okay. Now the effluent remaining, the effluent means after this microorganisms breaking it, once it is being comes out, the gases is being produced and that gas is being used. The decomposed solid volume is nothing but we call it as an effluent remaining, that is a liquefied, or it may be in a low in odor, or it may be rich in nutrients, and even that is an excellent fertilizer. Even in the agricultural lands, or it may be in the villages, you might have seen it, the cow dung waste, all those things, they will always put it in some place, and that will be rich in nutrients, which is used as the fertilizer for the agricultural lands. Is it clear? So this digested material is biologically stable and will resist further breakdown and odor production when stored under normal conditions. So once if it is been brought into the normal atmospheric conditions, it will produce less odor and stored, it will not accelerate the breaking up of the chains. Anaerobic bacteria transform manure and other organic materials into biogas and a liquefied effluent during the 3 stages of the biogas production. What are those three stages of biogas production? In the liquefaction stage, the first stage itself is a liquefaction, where we will add some water to that. So what happens? Liquefying bacteria converts insoluble fibrous materials such as carbohydrates, fats and proteins into soluble substances. And these soluble substances, see, three stages. In the first stage, the liquefaction stage, this is called as a liquefaction stage. In this liquefaction stage, the bacteria converts some insoluble materials which are present in the manure, or the material or the waste we have kept it in the biogas digester. It may be a fibrous materials, something like fats, carbohydrates and proteins, which will have a longer chains, like a polymers will be there. Is that clear? Polychained. They will have a longer chains, so they are insoluble. So they will convert that into a liquefied and accumulated in the digester, and or can pass through the digester intact. Okay, so that will break up into a small chains by the water, and other inorganic materials also can accumulate in the digester or pass through the digester unchanged. An undigested material make up the low odor liquefied effluent. Most of the liquefied soluble compounds are converted to biogas by the acid and methane forming bacteria during the other two steps of biogas production. Basically what happens here is, whenever we take the solid waste or a wet waste, it will all have a insoluble carbohydrates or maybe a fats or a protein chains, which will have a longer chains. So what we will do it is, we will add some water and the liquid bacteria, the bacteria which convert this, the insoluble chains into a small digestible material. They will be converted into a digestible materials in the first stage. So that what happens, the liquid quantity, this happens in the liquid presence. So that what happens is, the liquid, whatever the liquefied material will be increased. In the second stage what happens, the anaerobic digestion will come into picture. In the first stage what happens, the bacteria will play a role. In the second stage what happens, the anaerobic digestion takes place with anaerobic bacteria, which are called as an acid forming bacteria. We also call it as an acid forming bacteria, which converts a soluble organic matter which were already prepared, or which were prepared in the first stage, into a volatile acids. They will prepare this into volatile acids and the organic acids that can cause odor production from the stored liquid manure. So in the first stage what happens, longer chains will be broken into smaller chains, where there the odor will not be formed and only a liquefied effluent will be formed. From this liquid effluent, the anaerobic bacteria break this into an acid. So these acids will reduces the pH value, and it also produces the odors production. It starts smelling. Finally, the methane forming bacteria in the third stage. In the third stage what happens, the methane forming bacteria, they are called as a methane forming bacteria, convert these volatile acids into biogas, a gas composed of 60% of methane and 40% of carbon dioxide and other trace amounts of water vapors, hydrogen sulfide and ammonia. So totally it will release us the gas which will have 60% of the methane, and we want to extract only the 60% of the methane, and rest of the gases should be left out. Okay, not all the volatile acids and soluble organic compounds are converted into biogas. Some become part of the effluent itself. Now here the wonderful, now my dear friends, even in the examination or while you are answering, I expect you to draw this sketch or draw this flow chart, which gives a clear idea about your understanding of this concept. So basically, complex organic matter, it may be a raw manure, milk house waste, or fine beddings materials. It can be anything, anything which is wet, kitchen waste, bathroom waste, human manure, municipal waste, vegetable waste, soil waste, anything which is a waste in a wet form will be taken out. First stage is a liquefaction, where the liquefying bacteria makes this complex chain unsolvable long chain material like carbohydrates, proteins, and fats will be converted into a smaller monomer and small chain molecules. And in the second stage, what happens? This is the anaerobic digestion, where the acid forming bacteria will makes this liquefied soluble organic compounds into insoluble compounds like water, inorganic material, insoluble materials will be formed. So here the odor formation will takes place. In the third step, see, the second step is completely in the absence of oxygen. It doesn't takes any oxygen. Okay, it is by splitting up of this. So in the first liquefying bacteria, it takes the water content in order to break these chains. In the third stage, it is a biogas production, where the methane forming bacteria are used, which converts these simple organic acids into odors, and it will convert the material, that is acidic acids, into gas, which constitutes 60% of methane, and the rest with carbon dioxide and other gases, impurities. So what happens is, we will get two byproducts. One is a low odor effluent. Effluent andre, it is nothing but a waste. Once again, after getting digested, whatever we are getting as an end product of the gases, and then the solid waste, what it is remained, is called as a low odor effluent, that is used as a fertilizer for the land. That is secondary. Okay, whatever the gas that we are producing, it is nothing but a biogas that is being produced. Once again, we will filter this. We will separate the methane, and we will also separate the other gases, and the pure methane is being used as an effective the gases. And even this complete gas itself can be used, but it is of a lower quality of the gas fuel. Yes, okay. That is the reason why we will separate it and we will use it. Methane forming bacteria are more sensitive to their environment than acid forming bacteria. Acid forming bacteria can survive under a wide range of conditions, while methane forming bacteria are more demanding. Now, that is what how you can recognize is, you take a small tomato. You take a small tomato and keep it for 10 days, 20 days, 30 days. Then what happens? The fungus formation will be there, and then it will start decomposing. As it starts decomposing, you will start smelling it. When you are smelling it, it means that there is a acid forming bacteria doing some work. Is that clear? So it is smelling, that means acid forming bacteria have been formed. Is that clear? Sir, is it true that all the vegetables will produce the methane? Certainly yes. All the biological waste, only biological waste, don't take plastic, glass or paper. Only the biological waste will produce the biogas. It can be anything. Is it a tomato or a green peas or whatever it may be, any vegetable waste, any agricultural waste, any human waste, anything can be used for producing it. Under these conditions, a typical of liquid manure storages, more acid forming bacteria can survive than methane forming bacteria. So in other words, what we do it is, methane forming bacteria, we will add it because their sustainability is very less compared to the acid forming bacteria. We will externally we will add this. Okay, therefore acids are formed and are not converted to biogas. This excess of volatile acids can result in a putrid odor. In a controlled optimum environment, methane forming bacteria survive and convert most of the odor producing volatile acids into biogas. This is what the idea behind of it, my dear friends. Now, conditions that encourage activity of both acid and methane forming bacteria includes an oxygen free environment, a relatively constant temperature of about 95 degree Fahrenheit. 95 degree Fahrenheit comes around 36 or 35 degrees centigrade, normal atmospheric. Okay, but the pH between 6.6 to 7.6. So basically anything less than 6 will be an acid, more of that it will be a base. Okay, so the methane forming bacteria include all these things. So a consistent supply of organic matter to feed upon is the consisted in the methane forming bacteria. No, this is also called, no, acid forming bacteria will be like this, which yields odors and others organic acids. No, it gives a very uncomfortable zone for any person who are feeling it. So it is only because the acid is getting formed. That means the pH value of that manure is getting decreased. So it is forming an acid. The odors that it forms. When you take a methane forming bacteria, which yields the biogas, that's it, which converts this actually, the odors or the organic acids, into the biogas. This is the methane forming bacteria and this is acid forming. Now let us talk about the biogas plants, or the description of this biogas plant will be given over here. An anaerobic digester. Digester is a sealed container in which the anaerobic digestion is taking place. Is it clear? A digester is nothing but it's a sealed container, it's a closed sealed container in which the biogas digestion takes place. Is it clear? Now, sealed and heated. Anaerobic digester is a sealed heated tank which provides a suitable environment for naturally occurring anaerobic bacteria to grow, multiply and convert the manure to biogas and a low odor effluent. Now this is the reason why a heated tank they don't heat it by burning externally. What they will do it is, in most of the cases they will dig a hole and they will place it inside the earth. As we have already studied in geothermal energy conversion systems, the inside earth, as you go, it will be hotter. Okay, so they will keep it inside the earth and they will cover it completely. They will seal it. Okay, only the upper portion of the digester will be exposed to the earth surface. Is that clear? So the typical digesters have been insulated. That is what I was just talking. Insulated, squat, silo-like structure, or in ground rectangular or a round concrete tanks. Usually in most of the cases it will be in a round concrete structures. Rigid or flexible covers have been made or used. They are designed to hold about 20 days of manure and a small supply of biogas. Manure added, basically it takes a 20 number of days to prepare the manure into biogas. Okay, manure added daily to the digester remains inside for about 20 days. The retention time is nothing but the time which is required to convert a waste, a solid waste or a wet waste into a eligible waste, wherein which it will be converted into the biogas. This is what we call it as a retention time. This retention time varies from the quality of the manure or the waste. If it is a kitchen waste, the retention time is different one. That is the time required to decompose this. That's it. Simple words, the time which is required to decompose it and make it eligible for converting it to biogas. That is what we call it as 20 days. That means if you take a 20 days means from the 20th day it will start releasing the biogas. That is what the idea. Okay. Now the retention time before flowing, the storage facility or spreader. Storage facility or a spreader will be always at the top of the dome. I just shall show you here. Then I just shall come back. So this is what the biogas which is being collected at the top of this dome, which we call it as the biogas converting dome. Okay. Now this is what, while manure is flowing through the digester, the bacteria convert organic matter into the biogas and effluent. Because there is no volume reduction with the organic digestion, the same amount of material added daily to the digester is always removed daily. Whatever we are adding the manure, the same amount of manure will be removed. During the retention time, the lightweight material such as the bedding or animal hair can float to the top of the digester and forming a crusty scum. This is what scum is, nothing but which is floating. If you take a dirty water, the dust and the dirt particles will always float at the top of the water, right? So that is nothing but a scum. Or scum is also nothing but the material which has already decomposed and it has already released the biogas will float at the top. So that is what we call it as a scum. That crusty scum we will remove it, and heavy or insoluble material such as a dirt can settle at the bottom. So this scum is been removed. Settling reduces the effective volume of the digester and can cause incomplete digestion and odor problems, while crusting can keep gas from escaping the surface of the digesting manure. To control settling and scum formations. Okay, scum formation is nothing but a decomposition of that material in the digester can be agitated by a slurry pump, and a mechanical stirrer will be there in order to stir it. And strategic placement of the heating pipes. Slurry pumps are an effective way to keep material in the digester well mixed, and mechanical mixing adds complexity to the system but can aid thermal uniformity, reducing settling and break up crust formations. Those are so that mechanical mixing will also be there in order to make sure that all the part of the digester should have a equal temperature. Mechanical mixing may be necessary for certain manure handling systems such as the flush systems, where solid and liquid portion may be separated easily into the distinct layers within the digester. Strategic placement of the heating pipes will encourage thermal circulation and reduce the settling problems. Okay, the heating system is a critical part of the anaerobic digester. Heating pipes in which hot water circulates must be able to heat all the materials entering into the digester to 95°F and to resist corrosion from the manure. Adding manure to the digester as soon as possible after it is being excreted from the animal will help minimize the heating requirements. Basically, the heating, they will make one channel or a glut like structure where they will put the hot water. It's only in case of a cold winter, or it may be in the rainy season, it needs to be done. This is actually the most popular one. There are two digesters actually. One is a China digester, and the other one is an Indian digester. This is an Indian digester which we call it as popularly KVIC. This KVIC is nothing but stands for Khadi Village Industrial System, or a Khadi Village Industrial Corporation has developed this. Khadi Village Industrial Indian Corporation has developed this. It will have like this. Now, if you take this slurry or a cattle dung and water, slurry is nothing but mixing up all the waste, is nothing but slurry. We are supplying over here. It will come over here and it will enter into this biogas. This is a dome-like structure. This is a slab cover. This is a, see, here is where this is completely a sealed one, where the decomposition and the all the three stages of biogas formation, that is the liquefaction, gasification, and then acid forming, and then the gas forming. 3 stages it will take place. Whatever the gas that is being formed will come to the top of the dome-like structure. It is intentionally made it as a dome-like structure so that the gas will occupy more volume over here. This gas will be piped out with a piping facility. With this dome, gas wall will be there, and there will be actually a pressure regulator will also be there. It will tell us what is the pressure of the gas that is being generated. Okay, this is where See, after this digestion, what happens? The scum or the waste slurry, what we call it as a scum, will be removed on the right part of this. Now this is used for the fertilizers or any other purposes. This is the outlet. It is completely built with bricks, and this dome may be with the metal also. Okay. Now this is a dung and water mixing chamber. This is an inlet chamber. This is the ground level. Whatever we see, this is a ground level. Complete thing will be made into underground digester tank. Now this is what is happening. This is the beauty. I will show you one more sketch, the line diagram with the dimensions. Now as you can see, this digester size 200 milking cows with a 20-day retention time. For this we have all these calculations. Before I just I'll tell you these calculations, you can you have to remember, and approximately you have to give it. That is secondary. I will show you with the sketch. Now this is 2600 centimeters, and this is 1600. This is the dimensions, which tells us how it has to be designed. Based on this, on what basis it will be designed? It will be designed based on the manure which is available. If you take 200 milking cows, 200 cows, which gives whatever the cow dung it produces. Here they have not designed, told. It is 200 cows. If you have a 200 cows, whatever the cow dung it produces with a 20-day retention time. For this, these are all the dimensions which are required for this. 200 cows into 2.2 cubic feet of manure per day per cow. That means one cow will produce 2.2 cubic feet of manure, cow dung, for one day. So it is nothing but 440 cubic feet. So if that is the thing, how much gallons of water we have to add, and this is based on these calculations they will design this digester. This is what we call it as a KVIC. Okay, so that is all about this biogas production and the biogas digesters.